This is a benchmark of the best AIs, this is another one, and this is another one. As you can see, each one ranks each AI differently overall. For example, Humanity's last exam has a question set of 2,500 questions over more than 100 fields, while MMLU has over 15,000 questions spanning 57 different subjects. Some benchmarks say Gemini 3.1 Pro is the best model, while others say Claude 4.6 Opus takes the cake. What's the reason for this discrepancy? First off, we need to look at how these benchmarks actually work behind the scenes. Take MMLU, for instance. In reality, it's basically just a massive spreadsheet with a bunch of multiple choice questions. You heard that right, multiple choice. Think about that for a second. Let me give an example to make things clear. A kid sits in his history class not knowing that he has a test that day. When he sees the questions, he guesses on all of them based on general patterns he remembers from watching a historical TV show. That's exactly what LLMs are doing. Let's just say the question is, who passed the Embargo Act of 1807? The LLM may not know who did it or what it is, but they do know that Thomas Jefferson was president at that time, so they get the right answer. But if you ask it a question about the Embargo Act, it won't tell you, I have no idea. It will simply make up facts about it. Studies show that AIs can get questions correct but cannot explain their reasoning, so they are basically just predicting whichever is the most probable answer, token by token. So even if their benchmark scores seem high, they're just really good at guessing, which shows that they have some intelligence, but they don't truly know what they are saying for sure. This is a massive problem, because the government has already started integrating AI for military operations, so one small mistake can definitely lead to disaster. While some, like GPQA and RKGI, do test the accuracy of the reasoning, most people just focus on LLMs getting the right answer, not on them knowing how they got there. A big problem with this is that their reasoning is used to teach smaller models how to think in a process known as distillation. This is how Gemini 3.1 Pro was created, as a distilled version of Gemini 3 DeepThink. But if you teach a smaller model using a bigger model with right answers and flawed reasoning, it might just lead that small model to be significantly less intelligent than it should be. While AI labs try not to give the smaller models answers with bad reasoning, some definitely slip through the cracks, so because most benchmarks don't test the validity of reasoning, we can't see if they are just guessing. Another thing that mainstream benchmarks don't really test is if AI uses up-to-date knowledge when not explicitly asked for it. For example, if you tell Gemini 3 to make you a program that uses API keys to make a chatbot, it will use models like Gemini 1.5 Flash or ChatGPT 4o, which are incredibly old models at this point. Even if you tell it to use newer models, it will keep the old ones, saying that they are the most efficient and speedy, because when they first released they were relatively good, but now they're just outdated. Sometimes the wording of the benchmark can also be a problem. Research shows a model might get a question right if it's question A, B, or C, but wrong if it's choose the best option A, B, C. And in the race to make a benchmark that AI can't do, the benchmarks themselves have mistakes. But the biggest problem making benchmarks bad is that AI is getting their hands on the answers. Think back to that student who had that test, but this time he crawled through the internet finding the answers for the test. He doesn't actually know anything, he just memorized the answers. While I'm not accusing any AI labs of contaminating their data on purpose to allow their models to crush others, it's a simple fact that a lot of the questions on these benchmarks slowly get dispersed throughout the internet. This is why some AIs can crack some of the hardest problems on benchmarks, but can't solve easy problems that we ask every day. And once an AI succeeds a benchmark, then we have to make another one, but eventually we just won't be able to make questions AI can't answer, so I guess that's a future problem we'll deal with later. So, how do you know what the best AI is? The simple answer is, test them yourself. You see, an AI is objectively better if it completes whatever tasks you make it do more accurately. It really doesn't matter if an AI can answer a bunch of theoretical physics questions. The use of AI changes from person to person. I recommend making a list of prompts that you actually use on a day-to-day and see how each AI system works. Another way to see what the best AI is through a benchmark graded by humans, like Arena.ai. It's a lot more accurate than other benchmarks that I've seen, because humans vote blindly on which model is better, so there is no chance of bias. Some AIs are better than others at certain tasks, so I recommend that you use a mix of a few. If you want me to list the best free AIs in the next video, then let me know in the comments below.